What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and beautiful people of the Crasher community? How are you guys all doing today? Now, this is a subject that was actually brought to my attention by a couple of you guys, and this is actually a pretty damn big deal. We have ourselves, PointCrow pleads with Nintendo to reverse copyright strikes ahead of Tears of the Kingdom release. PointCrow has been hit with several copyright strikes from Nintendo on his YouTube channel, and he's pleading with the company to reconsider their decision before Tears of the Kingdom releases. PointCrow's channel has grown immensely over the past few years, with his modded Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild content playing a large part in what helped his channel take off. He would modify certain aspects of the game to get more out of it than a typical challenge run, creating scenarios for himself that kept him and fans of the content glued to the game for years. However, after copyright strikes were issued against 4 videos that showed off a multiplayer mod for the game, several other videos on his channel got claimed. And that's just it, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is another example of the notorious and spotty history that Nintendo has. I understand you want to be protective over your IP. I get all that stuff. But here's the thing as well, is that you're going after people, you're going after fans, you're going after content creators that are either using content that is within fair use or doesn't breach or fracture any set of rules that are laid out. And it's not just going after people for their content that doesn't violate anything. You go after events, you cancel events for the most petty reasons, and I have the video proof for that as well. Link will be down below. And also, who could forget this? Do you guys remember when there were these Etika-themed Joy-Cons that were made for fans, that all of the proceeds from them were going to go to charity? Well, Nintendo ended up putting a stop to that. They decided to take a shit all over something that had nothing but the best and purest intentions. Like, that right there especially made Nintendo look shitty, because not only were they crapping on something that was meant for charity, but they were crapping on something to pay tribute to a larger-than-life Nintendo icon like Etika, who had tragically passed away in 2019, and even just saying that out loud 4 years later, it still hurts my heart to remember that he's gone. While most of the claimed videos contained modded content, some were from the vanilla version of Breath of the Wild, and even other unmodded Nintendo games. PointCrow is pleading with Nintendo to reconsider their stance on his content before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, so that he can make videos about the game and other Nintendo titles. So it's not just modded content that they're going after, but it's straight up like unedited vanilla content, something without any mods, and Nintendo's going after that. Like, what the literal hell, Nintendo? What are you doing? Nintendo has historically been strict with how their intellectual property can be used in other creators' content over the years, with one YouTuber getting over 500 videos struck down as a result of copyright strikes issued by Nintendo. When the fuck did that happen? Are you kidding? And that part in question is documented in this article right here, where it says, YouTuber who got over 500 copyright strikes tells Nintendo to release soundtracks. Now, this right here relates to a gaming music channel that unfortunately got shut down because of Nintendo and their refusal to release video game soundtracks for easy accessibility for their fans. That has been a long time issue, Nintendo. When are you going to listen to your fans? But getting back to the main article here, while Nintendo has the right to take down videos that violate their set game content guidelines for online video and image sharing platforms, PointCrow argued that the videos he made are well within these guidelines and don't violate any of the rules, saying that Nintendo's copyright rules are incredibly uneven. Now, I had actually watched the video in question, and yeah, he's 100% correct in that. And while Nintendo does have the right to protect their IP and to take down content that is in violation, here is something that should also be said and considered. Just because you could doesn't mean you should. Like, are you that preoccupied with yourself, Nintendo, that you think about all the things that you can and could do, that you don't ever stop to think whether or not you should do it? I mean, this is one of those things that you shouldn't have done. PointCrow explained in his video that the Legend of Zelda Terms of Service don't allow players to modify the game, but they also don't allow them to stream the game, make videos about the game, or broadcast gameplay. And that there's a fine example of how uneven and inconsistent those rules are. Meanwhile, Nintendo's game content guidelines on what content creators are allowed to share on video and image sharing platforms reads as follows. We encourage you to use Nintendo game content in videos and images that feature your creative input and commentary. For example, Let's Play videos and video game reviews are within the scope of the guidelines. So you can see right there how things begin to come off as uneven and contradictory. PointCrow asserted that the wording here in Nintendo's game content guidelines that have been shown to overwrite existing terms of service don't directly mention that modifying games isn't allowed. And see, that's the thing right there, is that if you want things to be as crystal clear and straightforward to be understood, then you gotta cover every single basis, because if you are going to be leaving a few things out, or if they're going to be really vague and questionable, well, here's the thing, is that how are we supposed to know that this type of content is right or not? You know what I'm saying? This, along with other creators having content about Nintendo games getting struck down, has PointCrow worried for his own content and any videos or live streams posted by other creators, especially with Tears of the Kingdom's release right around the corner. However, the result of a legal battle with Nintendo could, according to PointCrow, be devastating even if he's in the right. Even if I'm in the right here, that risks my channel, my livelihood, and the livelihoods of my team. I don't want to go through that, and I'm left questioning the future of the content I'm allowed to make. And that is another big thing that I have issues with, is the litigation factor. Like, even if you're 150% in the right, Nintendo is filthy stinking fucking rich, okay? They will drain you dry of legal fees, and they will essentially drive you to the point of bankruptcy the more that you try to fight against their abusive legal behaviors. And we also ourselves a tweet embedded in the article from PointCrow saying, just put a video out going over the takedowns that Nintendo America has issued on my YouTube channel. Please go give it a watch. It's incredibly important. I will link you guys to that video in the description down below. But attached to the tweet is an image that showcases the content that is claimed / struck. And that is honestly really, really insane. The amount of content being blocked, the amount of content being struck down, it's absolutely ridiculous. PointCrow showed that content totaling over 55 million views has been either claimed or taken down by Nintendo at this point, making him wary of producing videos based around their games in the future. And, you know, that's just it as well, is that this is this man's livelihood. This is the livelihoods of his team. This right here, I'm sure, is causing a lot of stress and anxiety amongst them because of Nintendo and their abusive actions. He ended his video with one final message to Nintendo. Don't take this creativity away from us. These channels you've targeted, these videos you're claiming are from some of the people who are most passionate about your games. You're stifling that imagination and punishing those who want to share it with others when they do it in the way you've outlined for us creators. Please remove these strikes and claims, or at least start a dialogue with us so we can figure this out and all move forward with the excitement I'm sure you'd love to see about your future games. PointCrow has already reached out to Nintendo directly in regards to this matter, but hasn't received a response at the time of writing. And honestly, given how ginormous Nintendo is, I'm almost willing to bet that they would probably look at this individual as like not even a drop in the bucket and think, oh, you know, just another day, another case of us throwing our weight around for literally no reason, morally and legally, other than to have some amusement at the expense of others. Now, I hope I'm wrong here and that Nintendo actually does, for once, pull out a rare W, respond, and retract the damage that they have caused this poor YouTuber, as well as anyone else that they have wrongfully affected. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that, but let's just see how this situation develops. Now, before we end the video, there's something else that I would like to address real quick, and that is the fact that Nintendo actually decided to have a go at my main channel and completely block the entirety of my 40-second video. You can see right here, copyright owners, Nintendo. Now, this right here was me giving my thoughts and opinions on Shiny Walking Wake and Shiny Iron Leaves. And throughout the entirety of this video, I was just giving my commentary and my thoughts about all of this, so it's really interesting how Nintendo feels that they can claim the entirety of my video. What? Do you think that you own my voice? Do you think you own my fan-made, my custom-made avatar for my main channel, as well as publicly available assets off of things like Bulbapedia and things like that? Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, Nintendo, you're just straight tripping lately. You gotta get a grip, to say the very, very least. At least have the decency and morality to address what you have done and right the wrongs that you have committed against people for no reason. Or at the very least, make your rules and your guidelines consistent and not contradictory and confusing to follow. Like, I get wanting to protect your IP, I get that, 210%, but this is not the way you go about it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, these are just my own thoughts and analysis on the subject. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Either way, I love to hear you guys back. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time as well in viewing this video. Have yourself a damn good one, you beautiful people. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll see you next time.